When an actor signs on to play a superhero, a lot of the time they're really signing on to play two roles in one. With Batman, you're not just playing the caped crusader, you're also playing billionaire Bruce Wayne. With Spider-Man, you're not just playing the quippy, quick-witted web slinger, you're also playing the nerdy Peter Parker. And one hero that perhaps embodies this idea of playing two roles in one the best is the Incredible Hulk. Because on one hand you've got the brilliant scientist Bruce Banner, and on the other you have the brooding and destructive Hulk. And for my money, I think Edward Norton gave us the best performance as this nuanced character, despite being canned after just one outing in the role. Rather than leading with all the reasons why I believe Norton is the best live-action Hulk, I think it may be more efficient to list out my grievances with the other three iterations of the Hulk that we've gotten, in order to tell you why I think they fall short of the top spot. And if you think Bill Bixby or Lou Ferrigno should be in this conversation, I hate to tell you, but you have officially reached Unk status and are a certified boomer. But to be fair, I think there is a decent argument that Bill Bixby could be the best Bruce Banner, but the Hulk, just the same as Batman or Spider-Man, is a role of two halves. And the Hulk is just as important, if not a little more important than the Banner aspect of the character. And in my honest assessment, the technological limitations of the late 70s and early 80s really hurts this version of the Hulk. I have no problem giving Lou and Bill respect and props for being the first Hulk/Bruce Banner, but just given the campy nature of this Hulk and the goofy look that the limitations of the time resulted in, I think their dual portrayal of Bruce Banner and the Hulk simply can't be the best if we're looking at things with an objective, critical eye. Mark Ruffalo is the version of the Hulk that is compared to Edward Norton's most frequently because, well, he was who got recast in the role after Norton's departure, and I think Ruffalo had a really good start as the Hulk in the Avengers. His initial outing had some dark undertones to the character, and I think the added bit of him trying to put a bullet in his head, only for the other guy to spit it out, is incredible. But over time, the MCU has completely lost a grip on what and who the Hulk should be. I mean, in Infinity War, Mark is just a bumbling idiot essentially, really just present for comic relief.
You guys are so screwed now!
The whole scientist aspect of the character and how intelligent he should be isn't nearly present enough in his recent appearances in my humble opinion. And even Professor Hulk, the merging of his two personalities, felt like it didn't receive nearly enough build-up. We got just the Hulk for a few outings, and then all of a sudden it was just Banner. And the two merged together off-screen, which made him lose importance as a character in my eyes. Because the studio essentially told us he wasn't an important enough character to waste screen time on, by making the decision to off-screen his biggest moment. So this is why he's out of the running for me. Eric Bana probably came the closest to snagging the top spot from Edward Norton, but ultimately I didn't go with Bana for a few reasons. The primary one being that I think the 2003 film is a little too introspective with the character. Now, I know that might sound weird and a little hypocritical given my criticisms of Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of the Hulk, but I think a middle ground between dark and thoughtful and action-packed and brutal needs to be reached for a great Hulk. And while I think exploring why the Hulk is so angry and taking a dive into the character's psyche is a great idea, the fact that his dad and giant poodles are the final obstacle to clear just doesn't feel right to me. I think exploring the Hulk's psychology, at least to this extent, would be better served in a sequel or follow-up film, and it does take up a bit too much of the movie, which detracts from the character in my humble opinion. Now that I've dispelled all the other contenders, it's time to explain why Edward Norton is the Screen Story certified pick for Best Hulk. And just to start off, I think The Incredible Hulk gave fans of the character all the small things that the MCU seems to neglect. We got his iconic phrase, we got his classic thunderclap move, we got to see Hulk progressively get stronger through his rage. Even the design is the most veiny and brolic looking of the four to my eyes. And all of these small things that the Incredible Hulk took time to give us during his fight sequences was more than enough to satisfy what I was looking for from the Hulk side of things going into the movie. But where I think Norton really shines and what puts him over the top as this character is his Bruce Banner. putting Bruce on the run in the film was a great creative choice because it allowed us to see his intelligence on display without bogging the film down with highly scientific word salad scenes meant to just tell us how smart this dude is. Seeing Bruce on the run from the law and learning multiple languages in order to travel showed us his adaptability and intellect in a way that is more understandable and actually progresses the film as a whole. And Edward Norton's portrayal of disassociative characters has always been excellent. We've seen it in films like Primal Fear and Fight Club, and The Incredible Hulk is no different. All three outings highlight his ability to portray someone with an intense dissociative struggle, and his work on these other projects likely helped inform his portrayal of Banner. And in particular, I believe Norton captures the fear of Bruce really well. You can just tell how scared he is of his other half, and this fear is natural, as I'm sure any human being would be terrified if they could just turn into a giant green monster at the drop of a hat. But this natural fear of himself again lets us see his intelligence on display in a fun and functional way, as by the end of the film Bruce has gone to great lengths to master his breathing and tame his monstrous side. And to me, this film was a great portrayal of the character because the Hulk's presence drives Bruce Banner's actions. The two are symbiotic, and Banner is reactive to the Hulk, which is precisely how a scientist of his intellect would be in this given situation. It also means that reactiveness goes both ways. When Banner gets too angry or upset, the big green guy comes out. But as a result of the Hulk coming out, Banner takes steps to tame the beast. Both sides are entirely their own in terms of personality, but in functionality, the two react to the other's feelings and actions. And this symbiotic nature between two sides that couldn't be any different from one another is the key to a great Hulk and is what Edward Norton pretty much nailed. On top of his ability to capture the fear and overall character of Bruce, Edward Norton also has the really thin and lanky build that Dr. Banner has always been associated with. And being comic accurate shouldn't necessarily always be a benchmark you need to hit when adapting a character, but I think for a character that is as iconic as the Hulk, being comic accurate is a good thing. He's easily a top 5 most popular Marvel character of all time. I mean, come on, everyone, even non-comic fans, know about the Hulk. And there is certainly a reason for this. He's just a fun and really good character. So in this instance, if you're going to try and adapt the Hulk and build a movie around him, being comic accurate is a pretty smart route to go, as it captures the heart of why the character is so beloved. And for my money, I do think Norton is the most comic accurate, both in his appearance and how he played the character. Well, if you made it this far, please let me know in the comments. Do you agree with my assessment of all the live-action Hulk iterations, and place Edward Norton as the best amongst them? Or do you think I've overrated Norton's one-off performance of the character? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to check out some other Screen Stories content. I've made similar style videos for both Batman and Spider-Man in the past, so you might find something you like. Until next time, peace.